Welcome in, Aggie fans. Adam Young here with head softball coach Kathy Rodolph. The season is now less than 2 months away, and the schedule is released. It's up to date, and it's ready to go, Coach. And your thoughts on the overall schedule for this year?
Well, I feel like every year I love a challenge, and I think that it's good for us to play some of the marquee teams, and this year will be no exception to that.
You start the season with 10 straight home games. You open up with hosting 2 straight tournaments. That has to be exciting for your program.
Well, it really is. To be able to start out at home with a brand new group of kids, you kind of, yes, the weather's going to be an issue, but you're used to playing, you're familiar with your surroundings, and so I feel like it kind of sets the tone for a good season.
I love the field you put together for those first 2 tournaments. A lot of really good mid-major programs coming here to the softball complex.
Well, I feel like I wanted to really get back to kind of limiting myself to maybe 10 against the Power 5 and then playing the top mid-majors. And I feel like it really gives you a sense to challenge yourself and see kind of where you are at the beginning.
And then in week 3, you head back to Cathedral City for one of the best in-season softball tournaments around the country, the Mary Nutter Classic, which always features some of the best programs around the country.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like it's an invitation-only tournament, and so I'm excited that we're invited. It is kind of the top marquee tournament, and the kids are super excited to go.
Oregon, North Carolina, Missouri, some of the programs you're going to face there in Cathedral City. Is this a selling point in recruiting, telling the players that, hey, we're going to go and play in a tournament like this against some of the best in the country?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like all of the kids that come here because they know that we are going to be highly competitive. We're going to play top-ranked teams, and they're really going to get to challenge their best against the best in the softball community.
Looking ahead, you go to Tempe to play in Arizona State's in-season tournament. Some good programs there as well. And it's always nice when you have Tucson about 3.5, 4 hours away, and then Phoenix and Tempe about 5.5 hours away. It's a drivable distance for you.
It really is, and we started going to Arizona State's tournament a few years ago, and I think that it's a great venue. We understand that in postseason there's a high likelihood that we'll either end up at Arizona or Arizona State if we're fortunate enough to make it. This year at Arizona State, playing Arizona State and Michigan in the same day will definitely be a challenge.
And then you host Arizona again this year, and you know the Wildcats well. Like you mentioned, you usually see them in the tournaments, and it's always nice to get them to come here.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like we started that a few years ago when the Olympic team came in and Coach Candrea was coaching them. He saw the packed stadium and thought, great atmosphere, and so we've had it going ever since. Arizona's going to be loaded, and there'll definitely be a challenge.
And then North Dakota comes here for a weekend series.
You know, before we started conference, we wanted an opportunity to play somebody 3 times so that you could kind of get into the feel of what it was going to be like, because playing conference and playing a team 3 times on a weekend is pretty challenging. By game 3, you've seen everything they have, and they've seen everything you have.
This is nothing new, Coach. You always challenge your team in the non-conference. Where does this schedule stack up against some of the schedules you've had the last couple of years?
Well, I feel like it's going to be right up there. When you look at the Arizona State, Michigan, Cal, Oregon, Mizzou, it just kind of goes on and on. But what I tell the kids is, they're going to put somebody in the other dugout, and we're going to play them. And the hope that I have is that we won't ever be down 5 runs to a jersey.
Finally, Coach, you're less than 2 months away from the season opener. What can you tell us about what you have coming back and your thoughts going into 2019?
Well, if it's an indication of how hard the girls work this fall, the spring should be a pretty good season. I feel like with Kelsey Horton back, obviously everybody knows Kelsey finished number 2 in the nation for home runs. Victoria Castro, Kayla Green, Kennedy Johnson, and what they don't know is we have some outstanding freshmen. I think there's a high likelihood we may start 4 freshmen this spring.
Wow. Coach, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
That's Aggie softball head coach Kathy Rodolph.